Did you know that you can sew pieces of batting together to yield larger pieces? I've always got lots of scraps of batting laying around, and 9 times out of 10 when I go to quilt something, I don't have a large enough piece of batting. So I started piecing them together, and there's a really wonderful, easy way to do it. What you don't want to do is piece it together like you would 2 pieces of fabric. So you don't want to lay it, right sides together and sew a seam and fold it over, because you'd end up with a big lumpy area where that seam allowance is. Instead, what you want to do is make sure that you have perfectly straight cut edges and zigzag those two together. We're simply going to butt those up right next to each other with no overlapping and then zigzag them together. So I'll show you how easy this can be. And I'm just going to fold these two sides in so that it's not so cumbersome, and that's what I do when I'm sewing big pieces together. I fold them up, and I'm going to lay this underneath here, and I've got my machine set on a zigzag that is relatively wide. On my machine it's a 3.5. You could go up to a 5 if you wanted to. And I'm spreading that zigzag apart. So my stitch length on this is a 2. And I'm simply going to start at the edge here and butt the batting up. First I'm going to make sure my feed dogs are up. And bat the butting up next to each other. Making sure that it doesn't overlap. And there we go. We've taken a too small piece of batting and joined it together into a large enough piece of batting for our next project. Now I would not do this with this high contrast thread. I would do it with matching thread, but I wanted you to be able to see that seam. It's this easy. If you get this little bit of rumpling, it's not a big deal. You can simply smooth that out during the basting, or if you want to, you can take a steam iron to it and press it entirely flat. It's nice and sturdy, sewn together very well. And then once you do that quilting, it's going to hold it together even more. So you can take all those excess pieces of battings that you have and turn them into larger battings and use up your scraps.